This is WCN, the Whole Care Network. You talk, we listen. Content presented on the following podcast is for information purposes only. Views and opinions expressed during this podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent views of the Whole Care Network. Always consult your physician for medical and fitness advice, and always consult your attorney for legal advice. And thank you for listening to the Whole Care Network.
Have you ever met anybody that has caregiving on their bucket list of things to do in life?
Beyond caregiving, how do we care?
We also have to care for ourselves.
How do we treat friends, family, strangers we meet?
Forget it.
How do we heal? The physical, social, financial, spiritual.
Hello.
By creating healing ties. Tying it all together like a bow tie. With your host, Christopher McClellan, the Bow Tie Guy.
Greetings, everyone. It is Christopher McClellan, the Bow Tie Guy, for another episode of Healing Ties 2.0, featured on the Whole Care Network. And as you know, on the Whole Care Network, we are all about story sharing, because we believe it's through story sharing where diversity meets the road to collaborate on a common cause. And our common cause is supporting caregivers before, during, and after caregiving ends. And as you know, we're celebrating National Family Caregivers Month with the reboot of the popular Healing Ties podcast. And I know my guest today really thinks it's popular, as I do, with our 30 and 30 podcast to celebrate National Family Caregivers Month. And just as important, the soft launch of our new Whole Care Network website. So when you get a chance, please visit our new site. Even though you got to go to the old site to get to the new site, it's okay. Just go to wholecarenetwork.com. You'll see the link. And then once you follow to the new site, you will meet Bo. Now, as soon as you see Bo, you're going to get it, because Bo ties things together on the Whole Care Network. And during our soft launch, we'll be asking all our listeners to provide us with feedback on the new site so we can continue to build our site where you can easily find your favorite podcasts, favorite blogs, and videos. Oh, and by the way, you'll be able to search content on the Whole Care Network via our 4 pillars of care: our physical, social, financial, and spiritual health. And be on the lookout for our new YouTube channel featuring live shows, our streaming 24/7 radio station, and a few other exciting changes coming to the Whole Care Network in 2021. I'll look forward to receiving your feedback at wecare@wholecarenetwork.com. Now, really enough from me. Let's get to my guest. My guest, Fritzi Gros-Daillon, is a very successful entrepreneur in the senior move management, environmental consulting, and aging in place, home safety, and modification. Named Educator of the Year by NAHB for 2019, she teaches aging in place and universal design courses. Working with Age Safe America, Fritzi has developed the Senior Home Safety Specialist certification and co-created an online Family Caregiver Essential program. I'm going to have to ask her who she co-created that program with. Her master's in business from Columbia University combined with CAPS and UDCP, I've got to bone up on these acronyms, gives her the experience, perspective, and expertise to work with multidisciplinary professionals and clients of all ages. And most importantly, she's one of my dearest and closest friends. Welcome, Fritzi Gros-Daillon.
Thank you so much. That was really lovely. And congratulations on 2.0, on the burgeoning businesses. And this is really fabulous. And it's a credit to you and vision for you and Bo, who ties it all together.
Bo ties it all together. It is, and it's through working with folks like you and Stephen at Age Safe America that these dreams are starting to come true, because I don't think it's taking a risk. I'm just moving forward with my dreams because I have a goal. And I've been devoid of goals since Richard died. Now I'm moving forward and back in the saddle and talking to my really good friend. And we're going to have to get back with Age Safe Live Well podcast too in 2021. But let's focus on you and Age Safe America today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a chance to tell you about what we've been doing with Age Safe America. And our mission has been to train professionals and entrepreneurs and caregivers with the essential knowledge about aging safely in their homes. And so a number of our programs are designed to support that. And what's interesting is our mission in terms of helping folks who are especially making that choice to stay at home. And I've got some other things to say about that, as you would expect.
Yeah.
But this morning, our founder, Stephen Bailey, shared a story with me about he and his mom. She is in Ohio. She's 85. She has dementia. Mm-hmm. And she is right now in that happy space. So he calls her every week and she asks him how old he is and what he's doing. And he describes Age Safe America and he repeats the mission. And she asks him a couple of questions and then there's a little pause. And then she asks him how old he is and where he works. And every time she says, "You're still there? You're still there?" And he says, "Yes, we've been at this for 5 years and this is what we do." And then there's a little pause and she says, "By the way, how old are you? And where do you work? You're still doing that?" And for him, it's become so powerful because every week in this conversation with his mom, he is experiencing that long distance relationship change, but he's repeating the message of our business and the mission over and over. So for him, that becomes such a positive reinforcement and such a reminder about the value of the information that we share with folks, the same way so many of your podcasters have such valuable information. But just this morning, he shared that story with me, and he said at first I wondered if I was going to get annoyed, and he said now I understand that it's an opportunity for me to really speak over and over the words that are so important for us. So
right, and just go back 30, 40 years when we weren't really aware of what was going on with these conversations with our parents. And how aggravated we would get because we just the information wasn't there. And it's a testament to the mission of Age Safe America and you and Stephen that, you put these stories that are put what we're doing into perspective. It makes us, it just really is a good feeling to know that you're giving back to people who are involved in care.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the other piece of our work that was important about folks in their homes and being safe in their homes, and a lot of our work and our training is really around the mission work, but like the real physical environment, the real
Right.
things that are going on in people's homes. And it was important before the pandemic, and it continues to be important. I did a little mini video myself without the professional expertise of you, of course. It was tricky. But I was talking about the fact that people don't stop falling because they're staying home. Our statistics haven't changed. People, 1 in 3 over 65 are going to fall. Well, just because you're home and you're isolating and all of the other parameters around how our lives have changed, that hasn't changed. And so one of the things that has changed, though, is if somebody takes a fall, how badly do you want to go to the emergency room?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Right? You didn't want to go before? Well, you certainly don't want to go
now.
Right. And so all of these things that were important, the same way you were talking about, the messages related to how we relate to family members with cognitive impairments. It was always important, right? And these last few months have helped us frame, and in some cases it's exacerbated it, it's made it worse. In some cases it's made it better. But in so many cases, it has changed the framework of our decision process for our own families. And so the work and the training and the kinds of opportunities that we create and the information and resources we're trying to share, they were important before. They are important right now while we're trying to figure out what's going to be next. Is everybody's Santa, I think, is probably going to put a face mask in everybody's stocking this year.
Right.
Right? I mean, the Easter Bunny didn't hide them in the Easter eggs, but I bet Santa's going to come
have
through.
A number of, exactly.
Yeah. And that may be how we are. But the fact of the matter is, those things that are important in our relationships, in our homes, and how we're coping with more generations, and people not leaving, people working, schooling, everything is going on in the house at the same time. So things that would be a safety hazard for an older person may be a safety hazard for having 2 or 3 elementary school running around at the same time. Supposed to be sitting at their laptops and not. So lots of kinds of changes.
Lots of changes, and it's not. It's not ever going to go back to where it was. It's always going to be a little bit different.
It's always going to be
moving
different.
forward. Yeah, this is a monumental universal change that society is going through, and sure, there might be a vaccine, and we certainly hope so. But that's the change has already taken place, and how we adjust to it is really going to be how we deal with it as a society. But goodness, we're getting into all these wonderful, deep conversations, but I want to know more about Age Safe America. I want to know about your programs and I want to know about the co-creator of that other program that you do, the Family Caregiver Essential. Yeah, you have to talk about that person too.
Well, let me just tell you, did I mention the name was Family Caregiver Essentials?
Family Caregivers Essentials, yeah, that's it.
So who do we know that might understand all of those essentials pretty well? Let's look around the room and see who we see.
Probably, I think his name's Bo.
That's not what he told me.
No,
that's not what he told me.
It was certainly a great honor, and enjoyed creating the Family Caregiver Essential course with you and Stephen, and it is available on Age Safe America's site, and it will be available on our new site here coming up in 2021. But you also you have your signature program that you created.
Yes. We have it's called the Senior Home Safety Specialist.
Right.
Yeah. So, and that course was originally designed for professionals working with seniors and their families to understand the safety aspects of the home, but also to have a holistic look at what is also entailed. So it includes fire safety, very important issues, scams and identity theft, communications challenges,
Right.
as well as really an in-depth look inside and outside the house at ways to mitigate the risks of falling. And that we just had a student take the course from the Far East. So now we have eight different countries that have had students take the class, as well as now we've done it in all 50 states. So people can sign up. I mean, that's the beauty of online, is that you can do it really at your pace from anywhere. And so the Senior Home Safety Specialist is a certification, and that means, yes, there are tests at the end of each subject. I mean, that's part of the requirement, but it is continuing education units for many professionals. And
that's essential.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, for example, RNs in all 50 states, occupational therapists, physical therapists, even the remodelers groups, the CAPS folks, and the remodelers have also accepted it as continuing ed. So that's really good for us. And it's good for them to have a broader look at some of these issues. So we're excited about the program.
I think it's agreeable that aging is a universal issue. It's not just, it's not located in one segment of society. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And we have an aging, we have an aging community, and they have this information readily available to help us prepare. And I think it's kind of safe to say we all want to age in place as safely as we can, and Age Safe America is making that happen.
Yeah. I thought that was very nice, Chris. We can safely say, I'm going to use that line.
It's okay. I won't. There's no charge because we're collaborators. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention and ask you about your award-winning book.
Thank you. So I wrote Grace and Grit. Now it was published in 2014, and it shares stories of families in transition. Grace and Grit, I thought, was originally going to be stories about me, but it turns out it's really stories about the families and their abilities in different kinds of situations with the decisions about moving to assisted living or aging in place, that it really takes for each generation some grace and some grit. And so I've really been blessed. It's won a number of national awards and the Canadian Book Excellence Award. So that's been fun. Folks have asked me if I'm going to do another one, and I don't know.
Well, I enjoyed reading your book, and I'm going to encourage you to do another one in 2021, because book publishing is part of the new features we'll be offering on the Whole Care Network in 2021. So you'll know you got an inside track with the publisher. You got an inside track in it. And your message is definitely needed out there. So I'm just kind of tickling you a little bit,
Thank you.
In all your free time.
Thank you. Oh, that's important. I had those blocks of free time on my calendar. I noticed that.
Right. Yeah, I started my second book during the pandemic. I've got all the notes. I've got it all written out. It's like, and then we started working on the new site, and I'll get back to the book because that's another thing I want to do. But now I have somebody else I can bring along with me. How does that sound?
Good. We can be accountability partners.
We can be accountability partners. Very good. Well, Fritzi, this is a great place for us to take our break. And like I'm doing with all our 30 and 30 guests, 30 podcasts in 30 days on Healing Ties, I'm going to ask you to share one fun fact about you that I may not know. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. and that our listeners would be interested in knowing as well. So you have some time to think about it, but when we'll come back, I'll be putting you on the spot. Okay.
You got it.
Okay. You're listening to Healing Ties on the Whole Care Network. We will be right back.
Tomorrow on Healing Ties 2.0.
My personal experience was what I saw my own grandmother go through. So she lived in a senior living community in New Jersey for the last, 3 or 4 years of her life. She wouldn't go to like social events or programs or even meal times. And the community was doing everything it could to like do these awesome events, but she wouldn't go. Her philosophy was always, I can't hear what's going on, so why should I even bother? Hi, everyone. It's Matt Reiners, co-founder of Eversound. Join Christopher and I on Healing Ties to hear a little bit more about my story and how we're helping communities all across the country today.
Join us tomorrow and every day in November for 30 shows in 30 days. Healing Ties 2.0. Available at thewholecarenetwork.com/Healing Ties and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Well, welcome back, everybody. I am continuing my delightful conversation with my good friend, co-collaborator, and I just want to go visit her in San Diego, Fritzi Gros-Daillon from Age Safe America. Now, Fritzi, I forewarn you, I gave you at least 20 minutes to think about this. No,
Okay.
Not really, maybe about 50 seconds. But so what is that fun fact about you that I may not know and our listeners want to know?
I am the daughter of a Marine.
I did not know that. Okay.
I'm the daughter of a Marine, and my mom was a legal secretary. And so my stepdad was also in the Marine Corps. And my stepdad raised me with my mom.
Mhm.
And he was also a public affairs officer and newspaper editor. So when I was a teenager, I would get to go on Thursday nights with the blue pencil and help proofread the base newspaper. And so you can imagine, with the legal secretary for a mom and a newspaper editor for a dad, that words and spelling and grammar run through me like red blood cells.
No wonder you have the award-winning book, because you could edit it yourself. I did not know that. I knew about your mom, but I did not know about your dad and your stepdad being that. So when you tell me the comma goes there instead of where I put it, I'm definitely paying attention.
Thank you. You're very gracious.
Well, goodness, you see, that's why we do these fun facts. I learn something every day. Because we're always learning something, and it's important to, demonstrate and share that it's not all work 24/7. That we do have some wonderful memories in our stories, because it's our stories that bind us together.
Absolutely. And we love telling them too.
And we love telling them, and most, if not all of them, are true.
Yeah.
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 So Fritzi,
really.
I before I let you go, I do want to talk about our Age Safe Live Well podcast. It's we had 12 very successful episodes, going back into I think really 2018 and early 2019. And we kind of got away with it, as life moves on. We did the course, but I think with the new website coming up, we need to think about how we can continue to share the wonderful message of Age Safe America. And we can do that through your podcast on the Whole Care Network.
Okay. Yeah, I've got some different ideas because so many times we go back to the same information, and many times you have new audience members. So the same information is fine. But for so many of your regulars, I think it's important for us to give them some fresh perspective.
And things, we look back over 18 months. There's new technology, there's new systems, there's new ways that we can provide critical information for those who care. And the great thing is those podcasts are always available, and they're still being downloaded today. So they're always helping people one way or another. So
congratulations to you for this entire network.
Well,
really.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it without good support from friends like you and Stephen. And I'm grateful that you guys have been one of the founders of the network, and full speed ahead. But Fritzi, before we let you go, let all of our listeners know how they can find you, information about Age Safe America, provide all that contact information.
Okay, I'm happy to do so. You'd never guess, but the name of our website is agesafeamerica.com. And you can reach me, Fritzi, at agesafeamerica.com if you would like to send us an email. We do post, we have a Facebook page, and we do post some tips there as well. So the Age Safe America website has a very extensive resources page. And truly, the blogs are also very topical and can be of interest. And we try to keep up on timely information as well in the blog section. But so you can reach me through the website. We have a contact form there, or Fritzi at agesafeamerica.com.
And it's really a terrific and easy to maneuver website. And I guess it's okay to let the cat out of the bag that we're going to be sharing resources on the Whole Care Network. On the Whole Care Network site, we'll be sharing Age Safe America's resources. So very excited to collaborate with you and Stephen on that project as well. So Fritzi, with the stories you share and the work that you do, you are certainly someone who's creating healing ties all around us. And I can't thank you enough for being on the show. But more importantly, I can't thank you enough for being my friend.
Oh, you're gracious. I'm glad we're friends.
Yeah, it's been awesome. So, and more to come as well. Well, that does it for this episode of Healing Ties. As you know, I'm your host, Christopher McClellan. You might know me as the Bowtie Guy. I've created a life to love after caregiving ends by sharing stories, resources, and being with awesome people like Fritzi Gros-Daillon. Healing Ties is produced in the posh studios of Oddvox Production in St. Louis, Missouri, and is part of the Whole Care Network. Check out the soft launch of our new Whole Care Network website, and be sure to meet Bo. I know you're just going to get it when you meet Bo. You'll understand because Bo ties things together on the Whole Care Network. And be sure to subscribe to Healing Ties wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. We'll see you for another episode of Healing Ties, tomorrow, because it's 30 podcasts in 30 days as we celebrate National Family Caregivers Month. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye for now.
Ciao.
This is WCN, the Whole Care Network. You talk, we listen.